One time, David Anderson, senior pastor of Bridgeway Community Church, had an embarrassing moment in a boardroom. They were consulting with a top company, and the top executives in the company were in the room. And David was the one facilitating the discussion. A woman who was the senior vice president of this Fortune 100 company was talking, and he noticed something right there on her nose. So David thought, I know what I'd want someone to do for me. I'd want someone to tell me. Now, David didn't want to call attention to it, so he brushed his nose so she could see. He went through these hand motions. She never got it. So when they went to the break, David went over to her and said, "You've got something on your nose." She pulled out a mirror and looked and said, "Oh, that's my mole." David was totally embarrassed. But what about the woman? What do you do when someone insults you, even unintentionally? 1 Peter 3:9 says, "Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult." We must never retaliate for ill treatment. When someone insults you, you don't have to insult them back. You lose when you get into a verbal sparring match. The Bible tells us to do the opposite of what your opponent expects. Verse 9, "Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing." Now, when an insult comes your way, you return blessing. The Greek word blessing means to speak well of someone. That's right, you speak well of the one abusing you. Jesus said to pray for those who persecute you. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 4:12, "When we are cursed, we bless. When we are persecuted, we endure it. And when we are slandered, we answer kindly." Now, why do we bless someone who makes us feel like trash? Let's read the entire scripture again. "Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you were called, so that you might inherit a blessing." Bottom line, we bless the ones who insult us so that we might inherit a blessing. Now let's read even on, verse 10. "For whoever would love life and see good days must keep their tongue from evil and their lips from deceitful speech. They must turn from evil and do good. They must seek peace and pursue it. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears," get this, "are attentive to their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil." God's blessings come to those who demonstrate righteous behavior. You reap what you sow. God places his hand of blessing on those who bless their abusers. Christendom said this, "Fire is not extinguished with fire, but with water. Likewise, wrong and hatred, not with retaliation, but with gentleness, humility, and kindness." Now, I don't know about you, but I find this very hard to do. When someone gets in my face and insults me, everything within me wants to go on an all-out attack. And it's hard for me not to repay evil with evil or insult with insult. I don't know about you, but I find that it's not easy when insulted to shift my tongue. I just want to go into overdrive as I attempt to out-insult my verbal abuser. It feels so good in the moment. But then, even if I say things that were right, I also say things that I regret. And when I do, I feel dirty all over. Again, what I might have said was right, but it was wrong. So Peter is right when he says, "Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you were called, so that you might inherit a blessing." Blessings come to those who repay insults with blessing. Clara Brinsfield was a guest missionary at a girls' camp. Each day they would break into small groups where the 5th and 6th graders could ask their questions about her work in Chile. And one afternoon their group met after swim time. They were all dragging a little, but one camper tried to get a conversation started. She said, "How long have you been a missionary?" Clara told her how many years, delighted that she was interested. Her next question revealed what she really was wondering. "And how old were you when you went to the mission field?" You could see the wheels turning in her head as she was doing the math. "I thought you were that old. You look like my grandmother." She said this, the missionary said this, I couldn't be insulted, especially when another girl added, "But you're in good shape to be that old." You're going to get insulted in this life, even by little kids. And when an insult comes your way, repay insults